Okay, sports fans, here we are, Thursday. It's Thursday morning. It's October 24th, 9:29 a.m. Yeah, 9:29. It's going to be 9:30 very soon. Ooh, in 33 seconds. We can look over at that clock right there. You see that? 40, 41, 42. That is within 50 milliseconds of the National Bureau of Standards. That is guaranteed, so to speak, by Apple, because they take time very seriously. You know, when they started doing their Apple Watch, they came out with a whole story about how they're, you see the sweeping second hand move around of an Apple Watch. And they actually have contracts with the satellite companies so that their watches all around the world are, they're exactly, they're, so if you're in Turkey and you see someone at a turkey bar, if there's a bar in Turkey, I don't know if they have bars in Turkey, but let's just play. So you're sitting at a bar in Turkey and you see this sweeping hand moving around. My watch is going to be sweeping at the same exact angular velocity as here, as in California, in China, you name it. Now the hour will be different, different time zones. There are 24 time zones around the world, all right? 24 hours in a day. They make accommodations for leap year, leap time, add a second, subtract a half second, whatever, I don't know what the calculations there are, but Apple is really, really serious about time. So if you got an Apple Watch and it says 9:31 a.m., they ain't kidding. Now, if your watch also has the second counter, you can say 42, 43, 44, 45. Now, this broadcast is a Simulcast. It's a Simulcast. Simulcast where, radio and TV have the same audio signal coming out. Well, as you can see by the ticker tape up on the top there, this is a Simulcast because we are live on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. My handle is FAU4U. Florida Atlantic University, you know that? No, I'm not yet. I'm adjunct faculty at FAU. I am not an official anything with FAU, other than the fact that I am capable of teaching, and I have taught there since the year 2001, I believe. And I was put on as adjunct faculty. I have a letter in my Funkin' Wagon somewhere that says, Mr. James Wilson, we have accepted your application, interest, or whatever as being adjunct faculty. And the College of Sciences has met at its regularly prescribed meeting. This is in October 2003. And by unanimous vote, you have been put on as adjunct faculty in the Charles E. Schmidt College of Science. I have that letter. I am. I could call up Russ Ivy and say, Russ, I have 18 students. I'd like to use room, I think it's like 345 or something like that. You walk down the hallway and it's on the left side in the Earth Sciences Building 54, I think. Yeah. I put up paper signs all the way around guiding the students into I had up to well, 20 students, I think 20, 25 students at a time. It was a very popular class because I was in the world of digital imaging, in digital photography, long before most of the world was. So the fact that, I really, read up and became an aficionado of digital imaging. And it is amazing. And now, of course, because of the iPhone, which, as you know, I'm showing you see the 3 cameras, a flash unit. There's a LiDAR unit right there. You see that little shaded area? That's a LiDAR. Which for spatial recognition and AI, artificial intelligence. That's interesting. AI has been around a long time. It's just the media just figured it out. And they've called it something. Anyway, so I had some very interesting results for you at early this morning. I took some time. And, look at all that. Woo! Let's we'll go here. I'm going to make these graphics right here full screen. There we go. See that? That's pretty good. Now, this is the Real Clear Politics average. And I'm shaking it right there. Yeah. This is news. This is today. The Real Clear Politics average. National poll. Trump's up by 3. Oh, God. The Harris people have to be going crazy. The media keeps on saying, locked in a tight race. You know what? That ain't so tight. But, they want to, it's a close horse race. They want to do that because they want you to watch TV. And they want you to tune in. Oh, let's see, it's a real close race. It's up, we're down, we're up, we're down. Well, guess what? It seems, this is just what I'm saying, this is a national poll. North Carolina, Trump versus Harris. Trump 50, Harris 48. This is a Marist poll. That's a Democratic leaning poll. And Trump is ahead by 2, by 3. Arizona, Trump up by 1. Now, that's a statistical time. This says the tie. That's with 49-49. But, anytime you're within the statistical average, it's a tie. Whether someone's up or down is irrelevant. They should always, if it's within the statistical spread, like 3%, 2%, 1%, it should be shown as a tie. But, they don't do that. All right, so you got a national poll. We've got North Carolina poll. We got an Arizona poll, Georgia poll. Georgia shows tied. Let's move along. Okay. Let's do a little expando here so it's easier to see. Trump versus Harris. Yeah. Trump 50. Harris 48. This is Georgia. North Carolina, Trump versus Harris. This is a Bloomberg poll. Normally a left-leaning poll. Trump up 1. Moving up a little bit here. Pennsylvania. Trump 48, Harris 50. Harris up 2. The margin of error is 3. So, Bloomberg, Wisconsin, a tie. There's another one, Wisconsin, a tie. Quinnipiac poll. Moving right along. I've got a lot of these because I went to all the swing states. Florida, Trump up by 8. Texas, Trump up by 7. Maryland, Harris up by 30. That's a deep blue state. It is what it is. Trump never had any expectation of winning Maryland. Yeah, remember, it's an electoral college. We don't care a national, who gets, it's like in baseball. You don't care how many hits there are. You don't care how many times they got to first base. You want to know how many times a player runs all the way around and gets a home run. The same thing in national polls. We don't elect people with national polls. We elect people with who wins each state. And then you add up their electoral votes. So how many electors are there in each state? Well, that number corresponds exactly to the number of House of Representatives people there are. So if Florida has 29 House of Representatives members sitting in Congress, then they get 29 electoral votes. And they're actually people that are selected as electors. And they're committed. They're committed to vote according to the outcome of their state's election in the national election. So if their state, 53% of the votes counted are for Trump, then all electors have to vote for Trump. That's how that works. All right, here we go. National. I don't like national, but, Trump up 3. See, this is like crazy. If that's true, then Trump is going to do very well in November 5. All right, Georgia, Trump versus Harris. Here are all the polls looking from the bottom up. You see Emerson down there? October 5 through 8. Trump up 1. The Trafalgar poll on, 10-7. Trump up 1. So, they're too old. In my I am not a pollster, okay? I'm not a political expert. But I know how to read and write and add and subtract and all that kind of stuff. So, because we have such a tight, political outcome. It's almost, it's not 50-50 in each state, but it's really razor close. It's a matter of who shows up to vote. If looking at rallies and the amplitude and the excitement and the imagery of, when Trump says we're going to have a rally somewhere, of course, then the Secret Service goes bananas trying to prepare itself. So, Trump will have a safe rally. He's been almost assassinated twice. There are high-powered rifles within, 300 yards of our candidate, of the Republican candidate. One time, the one guy from a rooftop fired 8 high-powered rifle ammunitions at Trump, and one bullet went right so close to his head it peeled off the top of his ear. What? You talk about a Secret Service failure. He's very nice. He says, "Oh yeah, they do a good job. They all piled on top of me." Yeah, but they almost killed me, and the Secret Service allowed that to happen. It's such an oversight. It's almost like, prove to me it's not on purpose. It's just, God. Oh, every time I think about that, it makes me very scared. about, the survival of this man that's working so hard to try to help us live a happy life. Anyway, so if you look at all these polls, let's go at the top of the list. This is a Trump. This is a Georgia. Trump versus Harris, Georgia set of poll results here, which I made an image of it so we could, we wouldn't have to, search through the entire Real Clear Politics. There's a lot of information on Real Clear Politics if you go to their site. So I went through every, swing state and gave you graphics like this. So in Georgia, the RCP average, see the top line there? It's 49 to 46.8. Trump is up 2.2. Looking at all of these. And if you eliminate the bottom two, because, that's like old news, then that's going to go up to almost like 3 points. So I would consider, if this is represents the way it's going to be on November 5, things can change. But, it seems like everyone's like settling down. It's like watching cement start to dry. And the cement is drying towards Trump. It just seems like it is. On all this, let's go down that. Here's North Carolina. How's he doing here? Trump, Harris. How is she doing here? North Carolina, 2024. Let's do a little reverse pinch so we can fill the whole screen with this particular graphic. I'm looking at it with you. Start at the bottom and go up. The Emerson poll, Trump up 1. Trafalgar poll, Trump up by 2. The Rasmussen poll, that's my favorite. They usually sample, like 2,000 or 3,000 people, sampling it all over this particular state. Who are we looking at? We're looking at North Carolina. Just reminding you. So that's good. There's a Rasmussen thing. 51-46. Trump up 5. Then you have the Quinnipiac, the Carolina Journal, and the Atlas Intellectual. Harris up 3, Harris up 2, Harris up 1. In that order. The Insider ADV poll. Trump up 2. Bloomberg. Trump up 1. Marist poll. Trump up 2. Now, Marist is a Democratic-leaning poll. It just has been that way for, I would say decades. Anyway, for this state, North Carolina, whoops. Oh, Jesus. Ooh, where'd you go? There you go, North Carolina. You average all of them up, and Trump is up 0.7. So that's close, but, so the question is, who is more interested in voting? Now, this is Jimmy talking now. It's not. People are more motivated to vote for something than to vote against something. Now, if you listen to, I have a feeling that Kamala Harris, she spends most of her time complaining about how bad Trump is. And people are looking forward to, what are you going to do for me? How are you going to make my life better? Those kinds of answers. She's not giving those answers. She refuses to give those answers. I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense. And the cement is drying, and pretty soon, it's going to be harder and harder for you to, move your position and the cement is getting hard. It's setting up. You know, have you ever heard of that expression? This cement is setting. That means it's firming up. And cement firms up, you know, like in about 20 minutes. If you stop mixing it, if you keep it moving, the cement will allow you to move. But if you let it sit, it sets up and the crystals start to form. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, you know, assuming a 80 degree day, now if the cement's real cold, it may take a half hour to set up. They put salt, actually. They sprinkle salt in the cement in the real cold. Number one, it keeps it. Cement doesn't do well if it freezes. You know, literally freezes like an ice cube. So they throw salt in it. It makes it set up quicker, and it keeps it from freezing. All right, but we're not in the cold. All these swing states, well, I mean, some of them are in the cold. But anyway. So in this particular series of polls in North Carolina, we have a Rasmussen. Mm-hmm. It's a bigger poll. It is considered more middle of the, you know, a nonpartisan poll. They think it's, with all the people they called, 51-46. That's a swing state. Pennsylvania. This is the one everyone knows. That's a swing state. Now, I'm reading from the top, from the bottom up. I'm doing a reverse pinch. There's the bottom. Quinnipiac, Harris up 2. UM Lowell poll, 45-46, Harris up 1. Now, you know, Trump, I'm just going to read from the bottom up. Trump up 2, Trump up 1, Trump up 1. Harris up 3 in the New York Times Siena poll. Rasmussen says Trump is up 3. Trump is saying, your lips to God's ears. The Atlas Intellect poll, Trump up 3. The Trafalgar poll, Trump up 3. The Bloomberg poll, Trump up 2, inside the margin of error. The Rasmussen poll, Trump up 3. The margin of error with Rasmussen polls is like a 1%er. So Trump is up a half a point if you average all those up from the bottom up. If you take off, you know, some of the ones on the bottom because they're older, you know, we want to think about it in the terms of, you know, the most recent polls are probably, you know, a little more consistent with what may actually happen. So if you knock off a few of the bottom ones, Trump would be would have even a little higher instead of just taking the average. In my opinion, Rasmussen, Real Clear Politics is going a little too early. They're taking, you know, almost a full. They're going from October 2 to October 20. That's 18 days worth. I wouldn't go past 10 days, actually. So if you take the last 10 days, so that would be October 20 backwards to October 10, that would correspond to, you know, the New York Times Siena poll. So now I'm showing 10 days worth. Harris up 3, Trump up 3. That washes those out. Trump up 3, Trump up 3, Harris up 2. So you can see Trump, if you just take the last 10 days, Trump will be up like 2, not a half. That's how I would interpret it. That's why Real Clear Politics publishes all this information. So Jimmy can play with it. And, you know, you have to apply that same thinking to all of these. Now, here's the Wisconsin poll. Now, if you listen to the news, oh my God, that's she's got it. Well, she doesn't got it. Wall Street Journal poll, tie, looking from bottom up. Rasmussen, that's usually a bigger, wider ranging poll within the state of Wisconsin. Trump up 2. The Atlas poll only surveys, like 1,000 people. Margin of error is like 3. Harris is up 1, but because the MOE, margin of error, is like 3 on most of the Atlas and Intel polls, Harris is up 1. And then you have Bloomberg, Trafalgar, and Quinnipiac. All 3 of those are ties. And here it shows Wisconsin, Trump up 0.1%. So you know what that means? Who's going to go vote? Who is actually going to show up? Who's going to get off the couch? Now, in my singular opinion, just Jimmy talking, I'm a Trump-leaning person at this point. Hard lean. My son Daniel's going to pick me up in a couple hours, and we're going to go early vote in Florida here. I'm going to text him when I'm done here, like at 11:15. That gives me about an hour and 45 minutes of yakking here. I don't know if I'll talk that much, but I'm doing pretty good already. I mean, I got right into it. I've been yakking here for 27 minutes. I can see it on my little countdown clock over here. Just a reminder how long I've been. Anyway, so I'm going through all the swing states, because Florida, Texas, California, New York, they're going, they're either hard reds or they're hard blue states, But Trump did something very interesting. He said no tax on Social Security benefits. They're exempt from taxation. They shouldn't. I'd love to. I'm going to do a little research for tomorrow's show and tell you when and under what administration did they start taxing Social Security benefits. There was a time where you could deduct interest that you paid for a car loan. Okay? And someone took that away and eliminated interest on, installment loans, car loans, so forth. And that changed. But I'm more interested in the, when did we start taxing Social Security benefits? That should not be taxed. If we had put that money in an insurance policy, let's just say we bought an annuity. An annuity, you pay into an annuity, and then at a certain time in your life cycle, you decide not to pay in anymore and you start to take benefits, and the annuity starts paying you, over a period of time. Well, if I paid into an annuity, the money that I paid in with Social Security, that annuity would be worth about $4 million today. And then you take that $4 million and say, okay, let's divide it by, 60. Let's see, if you start taking it at 65. So you got 65, 75, 85, 9. So you take that $4 million. Let's just do some fast math here. This is how it works. And we're not going to consider any interest. We're just going to take the principal sum. So if you take $4 million, $4 million, there it is, right on your screen. Now, if you take $4 million and you divide it by, so let's say 25 years, you're going to live to 90. Okay? Which is The actuarial average age right now is like 78. So if you're 79, you're actually a year older than what the statistical average is of how long you should live. So if we go to 90, that's 10, 11, 12 years longer than the average lifespan is today. 90 is a good number. So let's just take 25. You know, what's, there we go. So we take, I have another calculator over here, times 12. There's 300 months in 25 years. So we're going up 25 years from 65. That means you know, if you live 25 years after 65, your retirement age, that's 300 months. Divide that by 300. That's $13,000 a month. You get $13,000 a month. You know, you can live on $13,000 a month because it's tax-free money, because it's an insurance policy and there's no taxation on, you know, insurance company annuity benefits. Why the hell would there be taxation on the Social Security? It's the same kind of thing. So Trump is basically saying we're putting it in the tax code permanently, no tax on your Social Security benefits. Do you know how many people across the country are on Social Security benefits right now? 65 million people. Now, if that doesn't get you off the couch to go vote, you know, I don't know what will. Because, you know, when I do tax returns, I do use TurboTax. Great. It's a great package. TurboTax. If you use TurboTax, you're going to see that, what's going on here? Oh, we got to add. Yeah, we're going to add. Hello, there I am. You know, that basically it takes away, like, you know, on average 20%. So if you have you know, our Social Security income, now we've, you know, have higher salaries over our lifetime. You know, the way they calculate that, I don't want to go into it, but it's ridiculously complicated, and it shouldn't be, but it is the way the Social Security Administration decides, you know, what your contributions are. But anyway, I'm going to keep it simple, stupid. But you know, our Social Security benefits is about $6,500 a month. It's not $11,000. It's $6,500. Well, and it's taxed. So you take $6,500. Let's clear this. You can see the calculator there. 0. Okay. $6,500. This is real numbers. Times 0.8 equals $5,200. 6,500 from 5,200. That's $1,700. $1,800 a month. I would lose because I'm paying Uncle Sam. Trump is saying we're not going to take that $1,800 from you. You're going to keep it. You paid in all your life, God darn it. And someone threw you a curveball and just decided to tax it, and it shouldn't be taxed. It should never have been taxed, but it is. So we're not taxing it anymore. No tax on Social Security benefits. No tax on tips. So if you're a waiter, waitress, and you're serving a table, and you know it's an evening table, evening meal, the average, I'm told that when UPS just gave me a signal, they're delivering a package today. This is great. It's technology. Pops up on my phone, right? Pops up on my watch. Hello! We're delivering to you today sometime between 1 and 3. A package. Anyway, so no tax on Social Security benefits. No tax on tips. So, Mo, who is the manager at Chops downstairs, it's a fine steakhouse in Boca Raton. There are like 2 or 3 real fine steakhouses in Boca Raton. And, Chops is one of them. We live in the building that Chops is a commercial tenant within this building. Royal Palm Place, 101 Plaza Real. That's it. That's my address. I'm on the 8th floor. Don't give me anything that's ticking, please. We have a den. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a den. Big living room with a den. I have the doors almost closed because I have a cat that doesn't want doors closed because it doesn't open up a doorknob. It's got claws and paws. Claws and paws. Anyway, if you are a server, for example, you're not a patient, a patron. Sorry, wrong P word. If you are a patron of Chops and you have a meal, Mo tells me that the average meal with all this stuff, desserts and wines and a cocktail or 2 or not, the average ticket, they serve thousands of meals, is $100 a person. So if you've got 4 people sitting around the table, that check, if there's one person paying for the 4 people to dine at Chops, the average check is going to be $400. Now, if you're a server, you have a tip. So, if I see a $400 thing, 25% of $400 is $100 tip. So you got $400 worth of meals. I would write $100 for the tip. Total bill $500. Well, that 100, Trump is saying no tax on tips. The server would have to pay Uncle Sam 20% of that tip. So he'd keep 80 and $20 would go to Uncle Sam. Not with the Trump tax plan. No tax on tips. No tax on Social Security benefits. That's 2 of the pillars. He also says to everybody that has overtime pay, which is, there's a lot of people that make overtime. You work 40 hours, but if you work 50 hours, that's 10 hours of overtime. That's usually like time and a half, right? So if they're making $20 an hour, I'm just throwing out a number, and time and a half, that means you make $20 an hour plus a half of 20 is a 10. That means that hour you make $30 for the hour. That overtime pay, no tax on overtime. It's very easy for TurboTax, the IRS, and everybody else that has a calculator. It's very easy to calculate that. No tax on overtime pay. You work 40-hour week, you work extra time, you work real hard, and you're willing to allow your company to keep you, on the job because you're trained to do a specific thing, or things, and your company rewards you for your ability to say, okay, I'll work longer. And the company says, I'm willing to pay extra for that because you're already trained. You're already there. You're already on the payroll. I don't have to go hire people, because you're good. We're willing to pay you time and a half. No tax on overtime. So like steel workers, any high technology people, they get overtime all the time. No tax on overtime. No tax on Social Security benefits. No tax on tips. Those are the three pillars. Okay? That Trump is throwing out there. No tax. Boing. No tax on overtime. No tax on Social Security. No tax on tips. That's the three pillars. It's like a tripod. It's very steady. It's very easy to remember that. He says it over and over again. Those three things reach out to over 100 million people. And if that doesn't get these people off the couch to go vote, because, everyone's got opinion, but who's going to, you go to vote, you got to get out your thing, you got to get, I have to search through my wallet, and, I got my wallet, and here's, no, excuse me. They want your photo ID, I have that. I got to take it out of the container. Here we go. You need your registration. Here's my voter registration thing. They want to see that. Has a number. Has your signature right on the bottom of it. There's my little signature. Nothing important. But when you're going to vote, you need one of these. And you need your driver's license. You need a government-issued document that has your picture and your, all your other information. They look at it. They say, yeah, okay, that's Jimmy. He's allowed to. I'm putting this in my pocket because this is what I need to go vote. I'm going to take my license out. I keep. Here's my little packet right here. There's my driver's license. There's my photo thing. You can see it. Yeah. The red one contains the key to my car. It's an electronic thing. I drive a Tesla. This is so it's in red. You can see that there's a dark card inside of there. Yep. That's the Tesla key. It's a card. It's not metal. It's electronic. It's a very secret password. It's electronic. It's a hexadecimal, big ass long number. Forget about guessing it. And there's my debit card when I go spend money. Yeah. It's in my back pocket. So I'll have to get my license out of that. I'll do that while Daniel is driving me to the location, which is like a half a mile from where I am. So, anyway, no tax on Social Security benefits is huge. 62 million people get Social Security benefits. Trump is saying no tax on Social Security benefits. Now, Trump, the one thing, look, Trump is a kick-ass CEO. That's what I call him. He is a kick-ass CEO. He makes things happen. And he's going to make it happen because these promises are on his list of things he says he's going to do. And he's going to kick ass and make it happen. You can count on it. You can pretty much count on it because he is known on, he's a tough guy. He's, some people don't like him. Well, you don't have to like him. That's not what the presidents are, he's not coming to your house for dinner. He's not going to move in next to you and be the neighbor you don't like. You don't like him so much, I don't care. He's a kick-ass CEO and he'll get shit done. And if you want to not pay taxes on your Social Security benefits, get off the goddamn couch and go vote. If you're a server all over, like you got Las Vegas, and all the casino people and all the people, the thousands and tens and thousands of people that work, in the service industry, that work in restaurants, they're waiters. If you make tips, if you have tip income, which is probably half your income, no tax on tips. I know it. I mean, they may only pay you $10 an hour, as an hourly wage, which is, dreadfully low, right? Can't live on $10 an hour. Well, but Chops, I'm just using that as an example because Chops is in the building I'm in. I've been to Chops 1,000 times. Yeah. No tax on tips. That represents probably 75% of your income is tip income. Well, let's just say it's 50% of your income. So that means 50% of your income is not going to be taxed. That's a big deal. If that don't get you off the couch to go vote for somebody, I don't know what the hell will. It's not a present. Everybody gets it. And no tax on overtime. That's now a lot of people in the steel industry, in the coal industry, in the high-tech industry. These companies, they pay overtime because their staffs, or a portion of their staffs, are highly trained to do a specific job. And it's easier, I'll just use that word, that's a big word, easier. It's easier to just pay the overtime than it is to find another person with the equivalent background and hire that guy in, so you don't have to pay overtime to 10 employees or 7 employees. So you look at those 7 people and say, okay, I either pay some overtime to those 7 people, or I find another employee and hire them. Well, that's an answer. Just hire another, train them, so that way I don't have to pay overtime to those 7. So that way everyone makes 40 hours a week and no one makes any overtime. That's a decision that a chief executive officer, the senior officer that's in the corporation, everybody's got one. Every entity has one. You either have a general partner who calls all the shots, or you have a CEO, and he decides. Well, overtime isn't something. So if you don't need overtime, and if you took the example of, well, I'll just hire another person and that way I don't have to pay those 7 overtime. Well, what if you don't need overtime? Now you have 8 employees and you don't need 8 employees because you don't need the overtime pay because you're all like in a restaurant scenario. Oh, in the summertime, the revenue goes down. Here in Florida, all the snowbirds come down here during the winter. Then, oh my God, things get really active. You get all kinds of people. You have lines of people waiting for tables, and you better make your reservation early, or else you're not getting in that restaurant. Because we've been trapped in that. Oh my God, I forgot to make the reservations. You made reservations at 9:30 for dinner. I'm one of those people that does not like to eat at 9:30 at night. I want to eat at 6:30 at night. Not 9:30. Then when you go to sleep, you're all bloated and all, no. 6:30. 7. I'll stretch it to 7. 9:30. Marilyn, we're not going out. If we can't get a reservation before 7 o'clock or 7:15, I don't want to go out. It's as simple as that. We'll do it another day. I'll make the reservation for tomorrow, but I can't. I don't want to eat at 9:30, and she agrees. No tax on tips. No tax on overtime pay. So the problem with hiring another person so you don't pay those 7 overtime, because that's like the calculation you would make. So if you have 70 You hire 10 people so you don't pay the 70 people any overtime. I said 70, 700, 7. It's about 8 to 1. So you can use 8 to 1 instead of 7 to 1. So I don't have to pay overtime to those 80 people. I'm going to hire 10 more. The obverse of that is, if I don't have overtime, I've hired 10. I've got 10 more people on the staff than I really need. So it's very difficult, so then you lay off people, then you hire them back. You go through the seasonal thing, I'd rather pay overtime than fire 10 people every year. If you have a sales force or this, service industry force. So in the off season, the off season we're keeping everybody, because when it gets on season, we'll pay the overtime. It's easier. The employees like it better. It stabilizes everything. That's why it's hard to hire. These big, huge companies. They make the calculation and they just do it, and they figure, well, the hell with them. No. Pay the overtime. No tax on overtime. No tax on tips. No tax on Social Security benefits. That's the 3 pillars that covers around 200 million people. Some people are going to say, well, I'm a Democrat. All right, I'll vote for the Republican because I'd rather not pay the taxation. And since we're experiencing 100% inflation in the grocery stores, it's not 20%. I know by the items. Butter. It's a staple. It's usually sale priced in groceries. It's $8.50 for a pound of butter. 4 sticks of butter. A pound. $8.50. It was $3.50 before we had this 4 years of inflation under Biden's administration with Kamala. So from 4 years ago to now, butter is at $8.50. And you know what? It ain't going down, because we're not going to have deflation, hopefully, because that means our economy is in the freaking toilet. If we have, deflation to the point where butter is going to become $3.50 a pound again, that economy is going to be a disaster. There are going to be a lot of people not working. There are going to be a lot of unhappy people. Trump is not going to allow a deflationary economy. He's a kick-ass CEO. He knows what it takes to, you pull, shove, and pull here and there. He'll have lots of help. He'll have the best help that money can buy. And wipe off the microphones. Full of. You have to talk right into the microphone or else they can't hear you too good. Yeah. You come back here and you talk like this, they can't hear you, but now they can hear you. So you gotta have, if it's a boom mic, a boom, then, it's out of the view of the camera, but, here, this is a podcast. This is not, yeah. All right, here we go. Get back to the images. Let's get back to, I had a little time out there explaining no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. I went through both of them. And I went through no tax on overtime. A lot of companies decide to pay overtime rather than hire more people. If I was a CEO, I'd do the same thing. I'd rather not hire an additional staff member. I'd rather pay the higher rate for those hours that I need, then hire extra people. So if you come into a period of time, the cycle, the life cycle, the annual cycle of your business activity, that way I don't have to lay off anybody when things slow down. Things speed up, I'll pay the overtime. Things slow down, I don't have to fire anybody. That's how I was the CEO of the bank holding company. I was a chief executive officer. I know what it's like. These are decisions you have to make, and you make them generally in the boardroom. You make them, sitting at your desk, okay? And this is what you do every day, And hiring and firing is not something that I like to do. It's more fun to hire, and it's no fun to fire. I can tell you that. Because when you get rid of somebody, that means that person is not working for you anymore. You've decided to cut them loose. And then they're swimming in the water and they don't have they need to find something else to do. Like, really, it's a terrible thing. I've stepped out of one job and taken another, but I've never just been, fired and all of a sudden you're cut loose. And, it's a terrible thing that people have to go through. So do a real good job and you don't have to worry about being fired. That's an easy scenario. And if you're walking you're on a tape rope, it's you can see things aren't the way they should be. Everyone knows that. Anybody that has been fired has known for weeks or months that they're on the outside edge of working there or not working there, wherever it is. Well, when you're in that situation, you start looking for something else. And when you find something else, then you resign from the company that you're on the edge of wetness. Yeah, you prepare for that. Giving you a little fatherly advice. Everybody that's been fired knows weeks in advance that your turn for being on the chopping block is coming. No, I'm one of these. I'm a worker bee. Okay, so I've not faced that kind of terrible situation, but I know people that have, and it's very disruptive to a person that lives by themselves, or a person that is a husband, wife, where you have other people that are counting on you, for support of each other, your family, your kids, grandchildren, whatever. Yeah. Okay, back to the polls. Wisconsin. Look at this, the RCP average, the Real Clear Politics average. Trump is up 1/10 of a point. That's close. Look at tie. One up, two. But see, there's a Rasmussen poll here, and those are the most accurate ones. Trump's up 2 for Wisconsin. It is likely. You only got 11 days? 12 days to go. This is Thursday. You got 12 days, and it's election day. Well, you really got 11 days because people, they don't change their mind on election day. I don't know. No one is, how could anybody not know what they're going to do on voting for this person or that person? How many people can there be like that? This is very, people are very polarized. They've been thinking about this for months and months. 8 or 9 months. You've been having this politics stuff. People, chat about it. You overhear people talking about it. You're in the conversation yourself. It's important stuff on who gets. This is a really, really important it's a very polarizing, important decision. To me, it's easy to figure out, Were you doing better 4 years ago than you're doing now? Almost everybody's going to say yes. Unless you're a Democratic operative. Yeah. If you're a Democratic operative, you're going to vote for the Democrat no matter what. Just because they're a D instead of an R. 30% of our country is going to vote for the D, no matter how bad her politics, no matter how bad her ability is to make a decision regarding taxation or regarding the armed services. She don't have a clue on what to do with the Army. Do you really think she's a commander-in-chief? I mean, just think about it. I've made up my mind, To me, it's not a close one. To me, it's not close. There's no way that I would, you line up all people, who would you put in there to be commander-in-chief? Let's just look at it from the, I want a kick-ass guy in there, and that's going to call Putin and say, get your ass out of Ukraine, or we're going to throw a bunch of missiles at you. We're going to find you. As a matter of fact, I know where you are right now. We have people that are tracking you every hour of every day. We know exactly where you are. And I'm going to shove a missile up your ass if you don't get out of Ukraine. Okay? Write it down. Count on it. Start pulling your troops out right now. Push the button, make the signal. We're not going to nuclear war, and we're not going to annihilate your whole country. We're going to shove a missile up your ass, and then you're gone. I got my finger right here on I hit that button. I got a button on my desk that'll take you out. Because we know exactly where you are every hour of every day. We have people that watch you. And we know when you get in a car, and we know when you go out to dinner, and we know when you turn your lights out, and we know where you go to sleep. Well, you're going to have to sleep with one eye open, because we're going to shove a missile right through your window. And you and your bedroom are going to be gone. And maybe 10 or other people that are around guarding you. They're all going to be gone too. Because we'll take out the building. And we have drones and missiles and airplanes, and it's not going to be an ICBM. No, it's going to be a bunker buster, and it'll take you out on the building. It'll just be a pile of rubble, and you're going to be blown into a million pieces, and boom, you're just going to be gone. Get out of Ukraine, or you're gone. That's the kind of conversation that Trump would have with Putin. And he will, in his own words, that's what he told ISIS. He told that guy. And he sent Trump this, Trump sent him, whoever that guy is, Abdullah, whatever. He sent him a message, and he attached a photograph. And he said, he called him Your Highness. He said, Your Highness, why did you send me a picture of where I live? Trump never answered that question. Open up your brains, you dumbass. This is where you live, and this is where you're going to, go to sleep tonight. Well, guess what? You ain't waking up. You're going to be vaporized. These bombs, the explosive charge is so dramatic that if you're within 50 feet, now you draw a circle 50 feet, that's 100 foot, that's a 50-foot radius. So that's 100 feet in diameter. Pi r squared. How many, pi r squared. 100 feet squared is 10,000. And pi is 3 and a little bit. So that's, like, so 3, 4, 5,000 square feet of area is going to be scrambled eggs, which means the explosive charge is so powerful that the shock wave of that explosion will compress your body, and it will pop all your capillaries, all your blood veins, everywhere in your body. So you just immediately drop to the ground. And you don't think about anything because there's no brain. You're bam, everything just all your capillaries just pop. So you have a body, and it's full of a mixture of fluid and your internal juices. Your body is 70% water, and then you got some blood and capillaries and cells and all that. They all pop at the same instant because the shockwave just bam hits you, and you're done. You don't have to get blown up, like shredded into pieces. All you have to be is near this thing when it explodes, and you're gone. About a 10,000 square foot area. These bombs are so powerful that the bomb is just out in the street, and it's just sitting in a basket, and it explodes. If you're within a 10,000 square foot area of this bomb, your body gets compressed instantaneously to such a point, you're like, you're done. And that's the threat you have to make. That's what, the Israelis, for example, if you look at the family tree of all the people that they have assassinated, is a whole family tree. It's like 20 of the most senior persons, in Hamas. They're gone. They're dead. They just blew up the head guy. Now, there's a guy with a turban on, in Iran. I wouldn't be surprised they'd take him out. Iran, you want to have war with Israel? Your leadership is going to be gone. We know where they are every day. We have intelligence. That's what they call it. They have an intelligence department. And they're far-reaching. I can tell you that the Israeli intelligence department is they're so smart, and they're so patient. They know where all their enemies are. I had the privilege of actually providing, these people are not just, they're super people within their secret service, the Israeli secret service. And they have personal, they're human beings, and they have children, and they have a wife, I was going to say a wife or two. No, they have a wife, and then they have children, and the children have children, and their grandchildren, a family tree of family. And I had the privilege of dealing with one of those gentlemen. Very professional. You would think he dresses like Wall Street, and he was a very wealthy man, actually. Probably most of them are. And I financed that he bought 5 or 6 houses, one for each of his children, himself, and he bought a whole cul-de-sac, in a particular city in Florida, South Florida. So I had the privilege of meeting this guy. I was, a banker, banker today. I just don't have a bank anymore. And my phone is talking to me because I used a word. Stop. Siri, stop. You have to be very careful of some of the keywords. We've got little boxes all over this house. So if you say computer too loud in the living room, one of those boxes lights up and says, What do you want me to do? It starts arguing with you, Yeah. Hamas. Yeah, the secret service of the Israeli intelligence. They're very smart. I got to know one really well. We became, friends. We talk all the time, just about whatever. He was very interested in what I thought about things, quite frankly. Because we met and you go on and on. So after 4 or 5 months of doing business with somebody, you get to know them. As a banker, you really get to know because, I was the kind of banker that knows that people pay back loans, not financial statements. So don't give me, a huge financial statement, but the guy's a schmuck. Because, if people, the Yiddish word schmuck, schmuck. You don't want that word attached to you. No one would ever say that about me or my wife or my family. There's no one that would look at one of my family people and say he's a schmuck or she's a schmuck. No. Every one of the people that are in my family care a lot about what they do. And they care about what people think about them. That's what's important. That's the one step up. What do those people think about you? So you have to behave in a certain way so they think highly of you. If everybody thought that way, there'd be no one fighting on this planet. Okay? But, all of the people, all these people that fight, they didn't have parents like I had. They had maybe no parents. Maybe they, grew up on the street. I don't know what that, so you're sleeping on cardboard that night in a particular city. My sympathies go to you. I've never had to sleep on cardboard. My parents made sure that I had a nice bed with a pillow, or 2 or 3. Yeah. They worked very hard at making sure that we were very comfortable, a very comfortable setting with which to live. You needed something, they would do anything to make sure that you had something that you needed. Need. 4-letter word. You got to watch out for those 4-letter words. There's a couple of 5-letter words, want, need. There's a difference between want and need. Want is a hopeful thing. You want something. That means you don't have it yet. You've got to do something to satisfy that need. That's what life's all about, baby. All right, let's go through a couple more of these things. Michigan, Trump versus Harris, 2024. The state of Michigan, where are we? All right. We have a Rasmussen poll, and it's tied 48-48. Now we got all these other polls. Trump up 2, Trump up 1, Trump up 1, Trump up 3, Harris up 3. Trafalgar poll, Trump up 2, Quinnipiac, Harris up 4. So if you add all those up, the RCP average for the state of Michigan is Trump is ahead 0.2. Phew, that's what I call a toss-up state. That's a toss-up. So Michigan can go either way. The only reason why Trump is in the picture there is because that's where all the auto workers are. And he is going to save the auto industry in Michigan. Because he's not going to force everybody to eventually drive an electric car. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, and that's why I have the microphone, and you're listening and I'm talking. Both of you are listening. This broadcast, which is an hour and 16 minutes long right now, is a Simulcast. It's live. You can listen to it right now on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or Twitter Live. Twitter Live. My handle is FAU, the number 4, the letter U. FAU for you. How about that? I like it. I've been on the faculty at FAU for 20 years. So I use FAU for you. I mean, it's marvelous. It's easy to remember. And you can find all my broadcasts if you just go into the social network that you like, one of the 3. Go into YouTube and type in FAU for you, and you'll see all my broadcasts. They all start out with this kind of a signal. You'll see the month in red, the day of the month in black and white, and Thursday. That's today. Just about every one of my broadcasts starts out with that signal right there, that video, with this background music in full amplitude. I turn it down when I'm talking because that way you can hear me. But it's in the background because we're streaming. And when you're streaming, you have to constantly put a signal out there, or you may lose one of the broadcasts. One of the because they're going out to 3 social networks at the same exact instant. How cool is that? eCam Live, ECAMM.com Live, is the enterprise. They've put together the software package that runs on my beautiful MacBook Air. It's a 15.3 inch diagonal screen. It's a marvelous computer. It's only about that thick when you close up. Yeah, it's really an amazing computer. It has an M3 chip in it, 24 gigabytes of dedicated RAM, random access memory, which is what a computer needs to, do things, to manage this Simulcast. There's a signal that goes out to 3 of them all at the same moment. I have a soundboard over here, which is my Rodecaster Pro Roman numeral 2. It is an unbelievable soundboard. You plug the inputs, you got the output, single cable, plugs right in here, manages all the audio from up to 6 different sources. You connect the phone right through the system right here. I have one there. Although in all honesty, if the phone rings, I'm going to have to answer it with my take one of my headphone things off and answer it because I didn't pair. You have to pair your phone with the soundboard, and I didn't do that. So if a phone call comes in, I'm gonna have to answer it like, I could put it on speakerphone, then you could hear it. I'd probably do that if the call came in. Someone saying, "Jimmy, you're wrong." You can send me a text, and I'll see that, and then you don't have to get on the voice and we embarrass each other. Anyway, we were looking at polls. Let's see, that's Wisconsin, Michigan. Yeah, we got them. Let's do Nevada. I'll do since I'm sharing the screen here. Let's reverse pinch that. There we go. See how that works? You can see how I'm pinching it, reverse pinching it over here on this iPad. There's a wire here that goes right over into here, and it goes right into my computer, and you can see it while you're looking at my camera over here. I'm waving my hands, but we don't. Here, I just had a little sip of tea. Excuse me, I had to wet my whistle. So I put together all these panels this morning from Real Clear Politics. You can do it yourself. This is Nevada. This is today, by the way. I went through all these this morning. I mean, it's accurate up through, October 23rd, probably. Most of these polls like this is 10/21. So, how old is this? See, it's 9/29. So you got more than 3 weeks worth of polls. I tend to not want to go more than 10 days deep. So if the last poll is 9/23, we go back only 10 days. I just had a call I didn't answer. 10 days, so that's 8. So that's 9/13. So we only go back to go right to the Rasmussen poll. Yeah, 9/13. So Rasmussen is 9/10 to 10/14. So that's within that range. So you go Rasmussen up. Everything below, it's all tie stuff in the bottom, underneath it anyway. So Trump up 2, Trump up 2. So that would make Trump up about 1.5. If you just look at the last 10 days worth of polling, you don't want to go deeper than that because we want to know what's going to happen now, not the way people were thinking a month ago. And when you're mixing the cement, you only got, people's opinions start to really set up. And that's happening right now. The cement is starting to set up all over the country. And so Trump's going to take Nevada. Yeah, it's just going to happen. In my opinion, looking at these poll results. Arizona, how's that? Whoop. Where'd you go? There it is. I'm going to reverse pinch Arizona. There it is. 2024. We're just looking to make sure we got the right one here. Trump versus Harris. How's it going to happen in Arizona? The RCP average for the whole period of time is Trump is up 1.5 points. You have to go back to the Wall Street Journal poll of 9/28. 9/28 is a long time to 10/8. 10/8. Yeah. 10/22. All these are current ones. So you look at all of them. Yep. There's only one of them that Harris is up to as a Wall Street Journal poll. Wall Street Journal polls are generally a little bit left-leaning. So what does that mean when they say left-leaning? In the world of polling, I've had a couple of friends a while ago that they're pollsters, and they tell me things about how they do what they do when they, how they decide who to call. It's a very complicated business, this polling business. It's very statistical oriented. I hated statistics in college. I did not like, it's just so, God, it's random. Biology was simple. I just memorized everything. That's what you got to do anyway. Don't fight it. Just memorize everything. If you can't memorize everything, then you're not going to be very good in the world of biology. Because you gotta know all the muscles and bones. If you're going to be working on the human body, you got to know all the muscles and all the bones, and you got to memorize it all. And you got a couple hundred bones, and you got a few more muscles. You got to know all the names of all the little groups of muscles, and the tendons and all that stuff. But polling is very, very complicated. Now we just get it down to looking at these numbers. Harris up 2. What does that mean? Well, they call a whole bunch of people. Thousands of people. There's tens of thousands of people that they spoke with. That people spoke with. All the agents that work for these different polling organizations, and there, tens of thousands of people have been called, and they ask questions and they get answers, and then all those answers are then, digitized and homogenized, and here you go. Harris up 2, Harris Trump up 2, 3, 5, whatever. Looks to me like Trump's got Arizona. It's a border state. They've had all kinds of trouble with all these bad guys jumping the fence. All right. Now we're taking all of the polling information that we have just talked about. Now remember, California is Democrat, period. And New York is Democrat. And, so those are the hard states that, they're solidly in, the Democratic control. And then you have the hard reds, which is solidly in Republican polling results. So you got the hard lefts, and then you got the hard rights, and you add them up together, and that's 434 electoral votes are accounted for. You only have 104 that are in the toss-up stage. Now, from what we've just looked at, I wouldn't put Arizona as a toss-up, because we've just looked at the polling results, and it's not really a toss-up. Georgia is not really a toss-up. Pennsylvania should be a toss-up, but it's not. I think Trump's got Pennsylvania. So anyway, this is what the Real Clear Politics people, the people that work behind, all the statistics that's coming in from all these different polling organizations, huge, amount of effort that all these people are dealing with. And the Real Clear Politics, you take all the data that we just discussed, they come up with this. It's likely that Harris is going to get 215 electoral votes from all the states that are left or leaning left. And Trump, Vance ticket, they got 219 electoral votes. How things change. I looked at this map a month ago, and the Harris people had more electoral votes than they have now. Now, Trump is ahead by only 4, but he's ahead. A month ago he was behind. Now he's ahead. And in my opinion, now I made one of these up for me, based on what I'm telling you. And this is what I think. I think Trump and Vance get 281 electoral votes. You only need 270. 270 electoral votes to win. From what I look at, I have decided that Arizona is not a toss-up state. It's lean right. And Pennsylvania. Whoops, sorry. Reverse pitch. There we go. Reverse pinch. Pennsylvania and Ohio are not toss-up. They're lean right. North Carolina, lean right. Georgia, lean right. See, I got Arizona, lean right. Nevada, toss-up. Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, lean. They're toss-up. So I have not put them in what I'm worried about. That leaves, we got 281 electoral votes. The Dems have 215. Whoops. And there are 42 in the toss-up category, and there they are. They're outlined in gray. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada. Those are true toss-up states as of today. I just went through all the toss-up states with you, and this is what I come up with when I pulled it all together this morning at 6:30 this morning. Now the news media is going to make you think that it's more more toss-up things could happen. Things aren't happening. The cement is beginning to get hard. If you're in the cement, with boots on, if you don't step out of the cement now, you're going to be in the cement for a long time. They're going to have to hammer you out with a hammer and a chisel. The cement is beginning to set up. You can step out of it now, but you're going to have to pull hard to get your foot out of there. Who would you think is going to do better with immigration? Harris or Trump? 51% say Trump, 44% Harris. How the hell could you say? Who the hell are these people that would think that Harris is going to be better handling immigration? They just let in 11 million people. I'm looking on the broadcasts, and oh my God, there are oceans of people that are walking towards the United States border right now. Oh my God. This is a picture of the Mexican street on Sunday. This is Thursday. And they're heading for the United States border. You know why? Because in 12 days, the border is either wide open or Trump's going to close it. And with the wave of a pen, it'll be one of the first things he does. He's going to shut the border down. Bam. Closed. You're done. %, of everyone that was contacted said Kamala would do a better job. I don't, what? You guys have been watching the news for the last couple of years? The border's wide open with her administration. She was in charge. She was supposed to be the border czar. Biden gave her that assignment. You get this border under control. Now, maybe that was all a facade. That's what I believe. But yeah, that was strictly for the microphones. It was wide open with both of them. They did it on purpose. They wanted all these people in here because they figured, hey, you know, most of them are going to be Latin speaking. They're going to end up being Democrats. We'll end up controlling the government forever. We let in 12, 15 million people. That'll keep us in charge forever. It's all about power. They want the power and they want it lasting. They don't want to lose power. You know, it's slipping away from them. I think they feel it. You know, I think they're starting to feel it. Their campaigns are starting to, you know, the Trump campaign, they're getting comfortable. And the Harris campaign is getting desperate because they feel it slipping away. I think it's done. I really do. I don't think there's anything, there's no stink bomb that they could throw at this point. They've thrown everything at Trump you can. They've tried to kill him twice. The one guy that we're not really talking about, the guy that was in the bushes, you know, with a high-powered rifle, only 300 yards away, Trump gets in that cart, you know, on the fifth hole, and he starts riding around on that, the fairway. As he's riding, he's dead, Duck. Because then he's only like 50, 60 yards away. And you get hit with that kind of a bullet, it just, you know, it just rips you up inside. I've seen these rifles shoot at, you know, I have a 9mm, you know, so if I have a hollow point 9mm round and I shoot a gallon jug of water, it completely explodes. You know, you can't, it's, you know, it's like, as soon as that bullet hits the, you know, the jug of water, the bullet is, number one, it's going at 2,000 feet per second, which is fast. It's faster than the speed of sound. In other words, so it explodes before you hear the rifle shot. If they shoot you in the leg, your leg explodes before you hear the rifle shot. You just look down and your leg has exploded. Because it's not only going 2,000 feet per second, but it's rotating, you know, at 5,000 feet per second. I mean, it is rotating really fast. You know, I mean, super fast rotation. So in a hollow point, as soon as it hits something, the hollow point then spreads out, you know, into 7 directions. And it just rips. That when it's the jug of water, the jug completely explodes. You know, it'll surprise you if you know, most people don't pay attention to this, but I watched it over and over. Hickok 45, you can go, you watch him, you know, you got these 2.5 liter bottles of soda. He fills them up with water, screws the top on, and then he shoots at it. And when it hits, it explodes. It's unbelievable. God, all these people marching towards our border, it's fucking terrifying. They're all men, you know, from 14 to 25. They're all going to get deported. Trump's going to fill them up with airplanes and send them deep back into Mexico. And if the Mexicans get in the way of us dumping these people in their country, then the Mexican government's going to be in trouble. And we know where all their leaders are. And we'll take them out. We don't have to go to war with them and blow things up. We'll just take out the leadership. And you'll be gone. So you tell your armies and you tell your airports to permit our planes to land with these people on board, because we're going to have the biggest deportation series that you've ever seen. All these people that are marching in the streets and getting our country, you should have locked your southern border, and you didn't. And therefore, we're putting all these people back in your country, and then you deport them to wherever the hell they came from. And that's what Trump is going to say. And he's going to say it just that way. And if you don't, then we're going to take you out. Then you will cease to be. Because we know exactly where you are every minute of every day. We have people. And they tell us exactly where you are. And we know the GPS coordinates of where you are every minute of every day. And if you want to stay on this planet, open up your airports, because we're deporting a lot of people, and they're coming right back into your country, and then you get rid of them any way you feel like it. But our people, our military, our civilian police are going to capture all these people, and we're putting them on airplanes, and we're deporting them out of here. And if they want to come in legally, then they can go to, any one of our consulates around the planet and apply for citizenship. And you take your turn like everyone else does. We let in about 1 million a year. We let in legally about 1 million a year. That's a lot of people. Because we need them. Because we're a growing country. We need them. But we want the ones that are going to, that want to, that are going to love our country, and you're going to love our citizens. And you can contribute to our society. We're not going to let in the people that want the handouts. We want the ones that want to be in our country and will love our country. We don't want people that are anything but that. So, but we do let in about 1 million a year. They go through, a very serious vetting process. We want to make sure they're not murderers, that they're not in the drug business and all this stuff. Yeah. I got my watch on a charger here because I went to a company called Make Me an Offer. Make Me an Offer. Here I go. I got one. Make me an offer. Well, there's Make Me an Offer. They're in Tampa. It's MACmeanoffer.com. You can go there yourself. And if you got an Apple product, an iPhone or an Apple Watch or an iPad or a Mac computer, MacBook Pro, that you want to sell, then you define the product that you want to sell. Is it in good shape, not so good shape, normal wear and tear, looks brand new. All my stuff is it looks like it's fresh out of the box, even though it might be 5, 6, 8 years old, because I take care of my stuff. But I cycle it through Make Me an Offer, MACME and offer.com. No spaces. That's their website. And it opens right up and says, what do you want to do? You want to buy something? You want to sell something? They pretty much concentrate on iOS, Apple products. I don't know what you do if you have I haven't had a Windows computer in a long time. Probably 15 years. One of my sons came to me and says, Dad, don't buy any more. Every couple of years I would, buy new stuff for myself, and then I'd hand me down my technology to my kids. Well, after a while, they started to, because of the educational system and all that, Mac products are all over, the educational world. Early on, they made, the Apple products they only have like a 13% penetration globally. They've got a higher, they have a higher penetration in the USA. But globally, they're about 13%. And Windows is about 85%. So 13 and 85, that's almost 100%. There's other little products here and there. That's why it's not 100. But so if you just, so let's say Apple's 15 and Windows is 85. 85, 90, 100. That's 100% pretty much, real fast. Anyway, so my son came to me and said, please, don't buy any more Windows. Could you please graduate everybody into Apple products? Because they're so much better. Well, I was a 20-year Windows guy, and I knew everything about Windows. Oh, I was good at it. You had to be good at it because that's the only way you could keep the stuff working, running. Because it's not very stable, and, everyone's trying to hack it. Because, the wise guys, they're going to go after the 85% market. They're not going to, heck with Apple. They're too difficult to crack anyway. So I'd rather go after an 85% audience than a 15% audience. And that's the choices that the bad guys make too. Anyway, so I switched. And it was painful. Oh my God. Because I knew everything about Windows. Now I had to figure out how this Mac stuff works. And it was all like magic to me. I had no clue on how to do anything Mac. Well, I have a clue now. Because I've been using it for 10 years or so. And I'm a technology kind of a guy, so I figured it out. It was painful, but I figured it out. It's like learning another language. Oh boy. Anyway, so here's my chart. 281 to 215 and 42 toss-up. Well, if she won all 42 of the toss-ups, that only gives her 215 plus 42. That's 257. You need 270 to win. Both people can't get 270. They can both get 269, but they both can't get 270 because there aren't, 540 electoral votes out there. There's slightly less than that. You can get 269 plus 269. Do the math. 269. Whoops. 269 times 2 equals 538 electors. That's all there are. That's it. You divide 538 by 2. That's 269 each. You know what happens next? It's very interesting. You read the U.S. Constitution. I have a copy. I've got 5 of them right behind me. Anybody that comes in here and we talk about the United States Constitution, that's not a political topic. The United States Constitution is a document that controls our society and our government. Yes, sir. And the first 10 amendments, which is the Bill of Rights, if you know anything about American government or history, which I yield as not being an expert in those things. But, I read the Constitution a couple of times. It's an amazing document. It's all handwritten because they didn't have laser printers back then. And laptops and all that stuff. They didn't have that 260 years ago. They had pen and ink. And they'd dip the pen in ink. And then they'd write until you'd run out of ink. And then you'd dip the pen, in the bottle of ink. And then you'd continue to write. It was all handwritten. So they were very judicious about how they made a sentence. Because they didn't use any more words than they needed to because they had to handwrite it. So they handwrote the Constitution. They handwrote the first 10 amendments, which we call the Bill of Rights. The right to free speech. It's amendment number 1. You know what number 2 is? the right to bear arms. Number 2 protects number 1. If you protect number 2, that makes sure number 1, you have freedom of speech. If you don't have the Second Amendment, the First Amendment goes away, because then you're not going to have free speech. That's what Elon Musk is all about. That's why he bought Twitter. He paid $44 billion. That's what it be. And he bought Twitter, fired 75% of the staff because too many of them were quasi-government people that were basically trying to censor out free speech. So Twitter was not a free speech place because it was a left-leaning thing because they censored the conservative thought. That's not free speech. He bought it and fired 75% of the staff. You can read about it. So he's a free speech guy, and he put his money where his mouth is. And he wants our government to be a free speech government, period. No suppression of speech. You don't have a democratic society if you don't have free speech. It's as simple as that. That's why Elon Musk is putting his name on it. And he's doing everything he can to try to get Trump elected, because we will not have free speech under the Harris administration. No, she's not a free speech person. And she doesn't know how to talk, It's obvious why she didn't do well in the national. She tried to be president 4 years ago, and she left the race even before their first, convention. The first state that was going to go to, to vote between I think they had like 20 candidates that all want to be president. She dropped out first. You know why? Because she couldn't talk then. She can't talk now. And no one wanted her. So she ran out of money. And that's when politicians bail out, because they can't raise money because the people don't want to finance their campaigns because they don't. She couldn't talk then. She can't talk now. She never had a single delegate. And she's the nominee for president. You talk about the Democratic Party is not an honest organization. They just grabbed Biden by the back of the neck and yanked him out and put her in. What kind of democracy is that? You don't hear the media scream and foul. Boom! They took him out, put her in. Trump decided, he says it's like a boxing match. You got a 14-round match. See who falls to the mat, and then they count to 10. And if you stay on the mat for 10 seconds, they raise the other guy's arm, and he's the winner. So he's round 1 with Biden, wins that first debate. Biden didn't do well. So the Democratic officials, they all, 10 of them, they all surrounded Biden, said, you know what, you're not going to beat Trump. You don't know what day of the week it is. Do you know what day of the week it is? Well, I don't know. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? I'm not too sure. Sweetie, what day of the week is it? Yep. They just yanked him out and put her in. No democracy in that. Some of the leadership of the Democratic inner circle decided Biden can't beat Trump. Let's try her. They pull him out and put her in. And Biden was screaming and yelling. And they said, Biden, you shut your mouth. You want a library with your name on it? Keep your mouth shut. You can't beat him. You did 4 years ago, but you ain't going to do it now. Let's give her a shot. We've decided we're giving her the, we're giving her the nomination. She's going to run against him, against Trump. There's no democracy there. Unbelievable. Media, you would think, if the Republican Party did that, the media would be screaming from the highest buildings. Democrats, whatever you want to do, it's fine with us. That's about it. Whew. That's how it happened. You saw it on live TV. Anyway, we're an evenly divided country, and, that's the way it goes. So I think it's 281 to 215 with 42 electoral votes that are toss-ups. And it's basically these three states, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and we'll throw Nevada in. Trump will probably win Nevada. That's the way it is. All right. Been on the air 2 hours since 11:30. I have Daniel's probably on the line, texting me saying, "Hey, you ready for? We're gonna do lunch and an early vote today. Just and Marilyn will early vote by herself whenever it's convenient for her. She can just slip out and do it. It's hard for her to have a party of 4 for lunch. She's too busy. All right. So let's say goodnight. It's 11:25. I told everybody I'd be available by 11:45, so I'm 15 minutes early. So I'm going to stop talking. So I'll see you tomorrow at 9:15 tomorrow morning. I'll be back on. I've decided 9:15. I'm going to open up the microphone again. I'll be on my Simulcast. 561-416-1100. My handles are the @ at FAU4U. You all have a nice day. Have a great lunch. And I'm out of here. See you tomorrow.